You're ready, man.
Okay, I'm ready. The following is a piece written by one of my favorite poets. I hope you enjoy. It's a poem about wanting to be a catalyst in your community via education. Trying to be the change in my community. All I wanna do is let them be free. Reaching my students, affecting their lives. TTS is a space we'll try and unite. Communal discussion between us in this world. Let's gather together and bring in our own. A cohort that sets their thoughts on the table. Language and power, man, it's unstable. Student speech comes up, it's multifaceted. Speak to one another, nothing but an asset. Incorporation of a multilingual speech. Mix it and mash it and get it, teach. Mexican American up in this piece. Wanting the students to see cultural competency. Being proud of who you are. Discovering your roots make the elders proud. By Carlos Ignacio Bugarin. I was at a loss trying to figure out how to begin this speech, as I'm sure many of us will be when we're entering our first classrooms, but in banging my head against the wall, can you imagine? Man, I love language. But pensé, what better tool for me to explore my thoughts and feelings than language? I believe this piece reflects how we feel as prospective educators before coming into the profession. To me, this piece highlights the most important aspects needed as beginning teachers. The power of peer discussion to inform your teaching, recognizing and meshing the students' registers, and an appreciation for the long-standing oral traditions found in the communities we serve. Going through this credential program will change your views and ask you to explore a deeper part of yourself than you're used to. In trying to unpack your thoughts to discover your teacher identity, please lean on and stay engaged with your classmates. We often get so wrapped up in the teacher to be that we forget to enjoy who we are in the moment. Going through my credential program, I found that my classmates and I are struggling to run before we have learned how to walk. Some of us come in with a wealth of classroom experience, and some of us come in with very little. Regardless of where you are on the teacher spectrum, the spectrum of teacherness, stay with your peoples and discover what it means to be beginning teachers together. Now I want everyone to look to your left. Now look to your right. These are your colleagues, your support network. As beginning educators meant to teach an array of diverse learners, it only makes sense that you reach out to the diverse resources you have available to you, namely your colleagues. Discussion through the vehicle of language is the most important tool at your disposal this upcoming year. Language is a vehicle to process check, understand, and rant and rave about everything driving you crazy at your teaching practice. Just as our students' efforts in learning the language of academia is chock full of mishaps and missteps, we too will fall. Our colleagues' dichos y palabras, words of wisdom and sayings will keep fueling us. We cannot wait until we're master or even proficient teachers, because we're needed now to do the work that is most important for our future. The future of our students. Often referred to as the key to our future, we give our students too little credit for the abundance of knowledge that they carry with them before they even step into our classrooms. How can you measure a student's skill in taking care of siblings, translating for non-mainstream speaking parents, or supporting their family's business after school? The students you're going to encounter are coming in with a wealth of knowledge and language. When we only value one way of speaking, this standard American English, it eradicates the strengths inside our students. Slang, bilingualism, vernacular, All of these are rich sources of knowledge our students utilize on a daily basis. Now at this point, y'all may be thinking, well, don't worry, that's where we come in. TTS to the rescue. Nah, I don't think it's that easy. I don't believe we're meant to empower our students. Rather, we help them realize the strengths they themselves already hold. Despite these strengths seen in our students, many of us realize the reality of American schooling. It is Eurocentric, monolithic, and stringent. While this is our current reality, it is not our forever actuality. As educators, we can help scaffold the skills needed for our students to code mesh registers. The question of can you have an academic conversation in vernacular/slang will more universally come up with the answer why, yes, of course. Our students code meshing or switching between language registers will change who holds power dynamics in the United States, but it must first start with the realization of a student's own assets. Being able to switch registers adds to the fluidness that is language by allowing individuals to socialize and play with the language. As you learn to switch registers, you gain a new perspective and a new way of viewing the world. Language is all around us, and we play with it using complex rules that flow, shift, and change from day to day. This leads me to my final point. Oral tradition and language is innate and naturally ingrained in the communities we serve. Before written in academic form, our ancestors passed on stories and cultural knowledge from generation to generation orally. They did it through stories, songs, and folk tales. Oral tradition stands the test of written testimony and evokes with it a certain flair and character that written text lacks. As Van Leer argues, language does not stand on its own when written, but has within it layer after layer of meaning that first must be uncovered. Social context, background knowledge, interaction, all of these elements help give life to a written piece of text. Language is one of the most important vehicles we use to communicate with one another. And in becoming future educators, we need to recognize the strength our students possess with their plethora of oral knowledge. An emphasis towards written knowledge production eradicates how language is actually utilized in the real world. Talk is circular and exploratory, never staying in one place. Language is fluid and constantly evolving. We co-create schemas of understanding one another and translate that to wherever we are. English language learners don't passively learn the language through repeated studying, but through active engagement with the language. Language is a social process, and our students seek every opportunity to practice their sociality. As language teachers, because we're all language teachers, why not give students the opportunity to engage with the language? Our classes will be louder, yes, but in peeling back the layers of context found in our classrooms, we uncover the beauty that is learning language for academic purposes. Okay, I'm done.